Hello, my name is Leslye Obiora. Asked about the greatest need of Africans in the Time magazine issue of May 28, 2007, Don Cheadle, the Darfur activist who received an Academy Award nomination for his performance in Hotel Rwanda, noted, "One thing they need is better PR." Information and news about Africa is not commonly featured in global daily news. Once in a blue moon, some disaster of epic proportion triggers a crisis of conscience and a deluge of report akin to penance. Dominant images and narratives about Africa in popular media are yet to evolve from spotlighting the exotic, impoverished, corrupt, generally wretched, and the like. The lopsided and episodic prism is ideologically loaded and distorts realities across Africa. There are many sides to Africa that remain eclipsed by the curious appetite for and the stubborn resonance of images of deprivation and depravity. Even within Africa, encountering print and broadcast news about Africa that is wholesome and inspiring is not necessarily the order of the day. It is as if newsworthiness in the context of Africa is synonymous with sensationalism and negativity. While discerning laments the recurrent normalization of such media violence, though compassionate roll up their sleeves in modest attempts to help. Occasionally, some celebrity leverages his or her fame and or fortune to reassert the power of one, to make a difference. Emerging media coverages of celebrities' involvement in activities like AIDS activism and benefit concerts or parental adoptions give the appearance of a subtle trend away from routine, morbid portrayals of the continent. In fact, the lyrics of our recent song glamorize opting for childbirth in Africa as a yardstick for fame. To mediate the deafening resonance of the problematic perception, a fertile imagination may take solace in a measure like a public service advertorial that culminates in the orchestration of a refrain that loudly asserts, "We too are Africans," on behalf of the legions of Africans who deserve a fighting chance at nation building but are hamstrung by the counterproductive image and find themselves sick and tired of being sick and tired of the very media they ordinarily covet as a formidable ally. It will be simplistic to marshal out the accomplishments of well-credentialed and everyday Africans doing extraordinary things to put in perspective the media violence that results from conflating and demonizing a vast continent of enormous wealth and diversity. Suffice it to say that there is another side to the standard refrain about Africa. The urgent need is to responsibly and strategically excavate the hidden face of Africa buried beneath the onerous steady stream of bad press. As Africans diligently vie to cultivate civic spaces, to incubate substantive institutions, to safeguard the integrity of the future, the near emphasis on the travails of the continent to the exclusion of its triumphs is a deserving, self-fulfilling prophecy that risks creating a lack of expectation. The media's complicity in perpetuating the revolved status quo squanders its resourcefulness as a mechanism for accountability and a crucible for enriching dialogue and dissent. After all, the celebration of the media as a fourth estate is a strong testament of its strategic potential to constructively referee state and society relations. The media could serve as a conscience to facilitate the consolidation of Africa's fragile democracies and transiting economies. On March 7, 2004, the New York Times published an opinion editorial entitled "Hope in the Land of Dashed Hopes." The one thing that struck me about the piece was the irony of the word dash. In popular parlance in Nigeria, the word denotes a favor. Ironically, one implication of this usage underscores the bottom line that hope that is a dash, in the sense of being externally bestowed, has a high probability of being dashed. In other words, as long as Africans continue to be primarily approached as persons that inhabit a land of third-party benevolence, or dashed hope, so to say, it is easy to see how such hope would be dashed. Compelling evidence of awe-inspiring agency abound for one who cares to notice, and therein lies Africa's hope. Africans are best equipped to determine their destiny, and many have risen to the occasion against great odds. Even the heart-rending snapshots that informed the New York Times piece captured everyday realities that would easily be extolled as sheer valor in New York City, for example. To celebrate African agency is not to discount the excruciating realities that define the landscape, nor is it to suggest that there is no room for strategic alliances for progressive development. To the contrary, it is an invitation to treat and a call to rethink the rules of engagement. The returns of an array of interventions will be maximized if what and where Africa is at this moment in history, as well as what it has to offer, are differently valued. In this vein, perhaps the continent's dependence on foreign aid would attenuate. Perhaps institutions such as the World Bank will be more respectful of the sovereignty of African nations and less complicit in economic waste that abort reasoned development, sustain bankrupt leadership, and reduce good governance to vain rhetoric. Putting a premium on different terms of engagement may bring to bear Africa's enormous socio-cultural capital reserve and open up meaningful space to assert the relevance of the diaspora. As a Nigerian in the diaspora who summoned the courage to venture back home in a bid to make a modicum of contribution, I would be less than honest to give the impression that it is an easy road to travel. However, much about the steep learning curve favor the proposition that the rewards far outweigh the drawbacks. In the course of my recent service as the Minister for Mines and Steel Development in Nigeria, it quickly became evident to me that contending the negative media representations and jaundiced public perception was easily one of the greatest obstacles to attracting foreign direct investment. Arguably, Nigeria's challenges in the public relations arena far exceed most of Africa's. Nigeria is ranked among the most corrupt countries in the world. The governance deficits and merits, or lack thereof, of Nigeria's designation as ultra-corrupt is a mere fraction of the controversy. Nigeria is equally identified as a source country for a series of vexing internet scams and commonly construed as largely populated by quick, ingenious, and tenacious fraudsters, primarily motivated by a desire to take advantage of vulnerable business prospects. Self-respecting Nigerians are frustrated and offended by the stereotype. More perplexing for many is the difficulty of reconciling the caricature with the average Nigerian citizen of everyday encounter. Many found humor in a widely disseminated study that concluded a couple of years ago that Nigerians were the happiest people on earth. Anyone who's been to Nigeria has experienced the legendary culture of hospitality, even among the most materially challenged. Visitors may equally concede that there is something to be said for the resilience and cheer of the teenage street hawker who braves the scorching sun to peddle some petty wear and still smiles and has graces for the umpteenth person whose car he chases a distance in the traffic only for the sale to be declined. To my mind, a pressing task is to seriously make such resilience count and harness it for inclusive governance. Granted, Africa's most populous country has its fair share of scam artists. Earlier in the course of my tenure as minister, I realized that the system was riddled with loopholes that exacerbated the incidence of fraud and inefficiency. Accordingly, I prioritized pipelining processes and institutionalizing norms that were certified to reduce the risk of problematic behavior, and retained the services of a management consulting firm to design and implement the arduous task. Needless to say, the effort did not earn me brownie points from vested interests that stood to lose from the reform, and they went to lengths to resist and subvert the project. The trade-off was the hard sell of Nigeria's richly prospective mineral resources, even to entities that were at ease with pursuing business interests in active war zones. The country's rich geology holds the key to nurturing a brighter future for millions of Nigerians who would rather be weaned from the appetite they have cultivated for aid and avail themselves of homegrown opportunities for self-empowerment. With robust leadership and accountability, indigenous wealth generation also has profound implications for bogus loans from institutions such as the World Bank that methodically contribute to encroach on arrested development in places such as Nigeria to muffle abiding criticisms of the exhaustion of their usefulness. Foreign investments and global attention enhance the dividends of democracy and facilitate the discipline for seasoned discourse and responsiveness. My name is Leslye Obiora, and this is my commentary. Thank you.